We all know now that hostilities between Russia and Ukraine are going under strain. Everyone in the world is watching these two countries, but today we will visit the neighbor countries of these two countries. This is where the negotiations between Russia and Ukraine, that is Belarus, took place. It is also the birthplace of two Israeli presidents. Let's explore what's interesting about this country. Belarus, or the Republic of Belarus, is a landlocked country in Eastern Europe. The total area of the country is 207,600 square kilometers. Ranked 84th in the world in area. The area of the country is also of a major category in Europe, as the territories of Belgium, the Netherlands, Hungary and Switzerland are combined with the territory of Belarus. The population of Belarus is quite modest at just over 9 million people, ranking 94th in the world. The population density is also very low, with less than 50 inhabitants per 1 square kilometer. Belarus is the rare country in Europe to maintain the death penalty. As you may not know, Belarus was one of the 15 republics of the Soviet Union for 70 years until its split and declaration of independence in 1991. Nevertheless, the country still maintains close ties with Russia. As a key ally of Russia, Russia supports Belarus not only economically but also politically, making it a guaranteed position on the international market. The former name of the country is Belarusia, and it is still in use today. But the name is offensive to some parts of Belarusians who remember their time in Russification. The name is mistranslated as White Russian, but it is actually a region. In Belarus there are two official languages, Belarus and Russian. Belarusian is studied in schools, while in official documents the majority use Russian. Near the border with Poland, Latvia and Ukraine, the language has changed, where it is spoken as a separate language, which has a combination of Belarusian and Russian, and sometimes even incorporates one into another. People who only learn one of these languages are beyond comprehension. Geographically, Belarus is a landlocked country, which is fairly flat and has very extensive swamps. The largest swamp is the Polsy, which is also one of the largest swamps in Europe. Belarus has 11,000 lakes, mostly small and medium-sized freshwater lakes. It's also a green, clean and safe country. Since the lake occupies most of the territory of Belarus, the country has also been known as the Green Lung of Europe. And of course you will find beautiful parks to explore in this country, ideal for lovers of fresh air. The green squares and stripes above are the flags of Belarus, representing the green of the forests of the country. The bison is the symbol of this country. Initially the number of bison is very rare. Only 2 European bison are released into the vast forest of Belarus. And currently the country has about 600 bison that have been developed from the original 2 cows. The climate here is not so harsh. The average winter temperature here is about -2 degrees Celsius and in summer about 20 degrees Celsius. Here forests cover about 34% of the country's total area, making forestry products one of the richest natural resources in Belarus. Besides, Belarus also has other natural gas, oil and gas resources. But mainly these minerals are located in the southeast, close to the site of the nuclear power plant disaster at Chernobyl, Ukraine in 1986. So the land is heavily affected by radiation, which makes extraction very difficult. Belarus is divided into 6 provinces, plus capital, Minsk, plus provinces including Brest, Homyel, Rodno, Mohyliau, Vitebsk. Belarus has borders with the countries Latvia, Belarus, Russia, Ukraine, Lithuania. So what do Belarusians eat? The staple food of the people of this country is potatoes. They are able to create over 100 dishes from potatoes, and a cake called Renitsky, a main potato cake that is the famous specialty of this country. Belarusians average more potatoes per person than any other country in the world. An estimated user of about 170 pounds of potatoes a year, the equivalent of each day eating half a pound of potatoes. Belarus also prides itself on their athletes and sporting achievements. Their sporting achievements will amaze us shortly after. The country developed a variety of sports ranging from hockey, football, wrestling, athletics, shooting, canoeing, swimming. If we're talking about Victoria Azarenka, who has spent 70 weeks at the top of the WTA ranking for women's players. Children in the country don't want to be doctors, teachers or pilots. They want to be programmers. Because this is a very respected profession in Belarus and has a fairly high salary compared to the neighborhood. Belarus is also known as Eastern Europe's Silicon Valley, where there are now over 200 companies and about 30,000 information technology professionals working across the country. It was this country that created the popular game World of Tank that now has over 120 million players worldwide. Viber app is popular messaging app besides Facebook. WhatsApp was acquired by Japan, also comes from Belarus. About history. Between the 6th and 12th centuries, the country was inhabited mainly by Slavs, and today they still make up a high proportion of the country's population. After the wars, Belarus first declared independence on March 25, 1918 and pictured the People's Republic of Belarusia. However, the republic was short-lived and the regime was overthrown soon after the German withdrawal. About economy. Belarus's economy remained mostly under state control as in Soviet times. The country has a relatively stable economy but is mainly dependent on a wide variety of supplies such as oil from its close ally, Russia. Industry and agriculture remained largely artisanal. 48% of the value of Belarusian exports brought to Russia. The total national GDP in 2005 reached $79.13 billion, about $7,700 per person. The Belarusian currency is the Belarusian ruble, BYR. The currency has been in use since May 1992, replacing the Soviet ruble. Now we speaking of beautiful women in Belarus, where men care. Belarus does not have a lot of rich mineral resources, except for wood. Most of them have to import everything, but the whole world is known for special resources that are beautiful women of this country. Women in Belarus can say that everyone is beautiful. The eyes are large, the nose is high, the chin is sharp, which makes the whole face stand out and has a lot of depth. They were of good descent from the ancient Slavs with white skin and tall physique. But its striking distance has knocked down the men in front of them. And equally, there are more women than men in Belarus. Girls want to get married all the time. My guess is that a lot of unmarried men are thinking about whether they can go to Belarus to search for half of their lives. But the reality is heartbreaking. In 2005, Lukashenko's words completely broke these ideas. The loss of beautiful women in our country is a great loss and erodes the dignity of the country. We'll never allow young girls to become objects of sale. Our beauty does not need to go abroad. Studying has enough spare space to develop in the country. Therefore, Belarus is a rare country that does not allow women to marry foreign countries. If you want to marry a Belarusian girl, you have to give up your nationality and naturalize in Belarus, then you will have a wife here. But are you brave enough to do this? Thank you for following this story. The story about the country of Belarus is interesting. If you find it interesting, don't forget to press the subscribe button and the notification button. Now goodbye and see you in the next parts.